We're here again digging into the research so you don't have to. And today we've got a really specific focus. We're looking closely at the source material on the career trajectory for Cancer, specifically for the year 2026. And if you're Cancer hoping 2026 is a big deal career-wise, well, the sources definitely seem to confirm that. It looks like a year for a profound and deeply satisfying shift is how it's put. Seems the idea is moving past just, working a job to pay the bills. It's pushing you towards finding a true calling. So think metamorphosis, not just a pay rise.
Exactly. Transformation is really the core theme that jumped out from the analysis, and it speaks right to that Cancerian need for security, but maybe in a different way. What the data suggests is that success for you in 2026 gets, well, redefined. It's less about what others think and more about emotional fulfillment, real security deep down. And we could actually map this out by looking at three major planetary influences. The big players shaping this professional path are Pluto, with its intense transformative energy. Then there's Saturn, bringing the discipline and structure. And finally, Jupiter, offering that big boost in, well, abundance and self-worth. So we're going to break down how these three kind of interlock for your career next year.
Okay, let's dive in, maybe starting with the most intense one, Pluto. Sounds like that's where things get really deep because Pluto is moving through your eighth house. That's the zone governing shared resources, right? Investments, inheritances, things like that, big financial partnerships. And looking at the data here, the career areas mentioned aren't just like generic finance. It specifically calls out things like legacy planning, managing significant assets, even high stakes real estate. Why such a specific focus, do you think, for Cancer during this transit?
Well, the analysis points to something fundamental about Cancer, that innate desire to provide security for others. In the eighth house, that desire gets professionalized, almost amplified. You're dealing with huge amounts of trust, shared risk, other people's resources. It's not just your money, it's managing capital, maybe institutional funds. Serious stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And that might be why real estate and legacy planning pop up. They're tangible, right? They create lasting security, which really resonates with the Cancer temperament. But Pluto forces the deeper issue. It makes you confront your psychological relationship with power, with money. Are you just chasing comfort? Or are you actually seeking the freedom, the real power that comes from mastering these resources? It's a big question.
But hang on, doesn't that sound a bit risky? If you're focusing so much on other people's money in the eighth house, could that make you, I don't know, dependent or lose your own footing? How do the sources suggest you balance that?
Yeah, that's the tightrope walk. That's the Pluto test, really. The data suggests the challenge is to step fully into your own power, to pursue wealth, not just for show, but for genuine security and freedom, especially for loved ones. The sources even hint at a significant financial opportunity coming through, maybe a partner or an inheritance, something that gives you the choice to pursue your passion. The danger is getting too comfortable managing others' assets and not building your own independent foundation.
So Pluto's basically saying, get real about your money stuff, your power issues, or the universe will kind of force you to anyway.
Sounds intense, yeah, but maybe liberating too, facing that head on.
Definitely intense, but ultimately empowering.
Okay, so after that deep, maybe messy Pluto work, you need some structure to hold it all.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Saturn, the cosmic teacher, right?
Exactly. We shift gears from Pluto's intensity to Saturn's, let's call it architectural discipline. Saturn's moving through your ninth house, and the ninth house is all about higher learning, philosophy, travel, your whole belief system, really. That's why we're calling it your cosmic university. Saturn here demands serious commitment to expanding your horizons.
Right.
Saturn wants you to lay the foundation for the next big chapter of your professional life. And the sources aren't talking about just taking a weekend workshop. They mention specific, rigorous paths. Going back for a specialized degree, getting high-level certifications, finding serious mentors, things that establish you as a real authority in your field. Okay, so it's not just learning for learning's sake. It's about building authority. That makes sense. And the fields the analysis highlights fit that mold too. Law, academia, publishing, international business. Feels like there's a common thread there. Work needing a bigger purpose, like a philosophical or ethical backbone, turning the job into more of a vocation.
You've got it. That's the crucial link. The expertise you build, the specialization Saturn demands, needs to be applied to something that feels meaningful on a deeper level. It connects the emotional drive uncovered by Pluto to the concrete structure built by Saturn. You're essentially solidifying your professional philosophy, your why.
I see.
So if you've been feeling pulled towards, say, specializing in international law or getting certified in AI ethics, now's the time the data says to commit. Saturn rewards that structured effort in the ninth house. Big time. It's an investment in yourself that really pays off.
Okay, quick pause here. If you're finding these insights useful and you appreciate us digging into the source material like this, maybe take a second to like this deep dive and subscribe if you want more specialized knowledge dropped straight into your feed. We do this regularly. All right, so we've navigated the deep psychological work with Pluto and the structural buildup with Saturn. Now, let's talk about the reward, maybe. Jupiter, that sounds more encouraging.
Definitely. After all that hard work, Jupiter brings the good stuff. Jupiter is growth, expansion, abundance, and it's transiting your second house. That's the house of personal income, assets, and crucially, self-worth. So if Pluto is about shared resources, Jupiter is about your resources, your ability to generate wealth independently. The research literally calls it a direct blessing to your finances.
A direct plus, and I like the sound of that.
Who wouldn't? And financially, it's pretty straightforward. Your earning potential gets a serious boost. The analysis suggests being proactive here, like asking for that raise, raising your rates if you're freelance, finding new income streams. The energy is there, but you do need to sort of step up and claim it.
Right, but I noticed something else in the material. It wasn't just about more money flowing in. It seemed like the reason the money flows is tied to something deeper, that boost in sense of self-worth.
Yes, that's the core of it, really. It's the non-financial piece that fuels the financial piece. Jupiter in the second boosts your confidence, your sense of your own value. And the analysis makes a great point. Confidence is magnetic. When you genuinely know your worth, other people see it too. And they're more willing to pay for it. You stop undercharging or hesitating.
So that confidence, combined with Saturn's new structure and Pluto's power awareness, lets you take what the sources called calculated risks. What would that look like for a Cancer in 2026?
Good question. Given the ninth house focus from Saturn, a calculated risk might be launching that specialized international venture you skilled up for. Or perhaps leaving a steady but maybe uninspiring job to finally start your own consultancy, positioning yourself as that authority you've become. Because Jupiter's got your back financially, boosting your base income and your confidence, you're not operating from fear or desperation. You take the risk because you trust your value. It's abundance-driven, not scarcity-driven.
Wow, okay. When you put it all together like that, it's not just random events. It really does sound like a whole cycle of professional maturing almost. So let's try and weave these threads together. Summarize the big picture for Cancer in 2026. It feels like 3 key themes are reshaping your whole professional world.
Yeah, 3 interlocking themes. First, you've got Pluto's deep dive, facing fears around money and power, stepping up to manage resources confidently, understanding your core motivations.
All right, the psychological foundation. Then second, there's Saturn demanding that you build expertise. Rigorous learning, expanding your worldview, establishing yourself as an authority with an ethical compass.
Exactly, the structural expansion.
Yeah.
And third, rounding it out, is Jupiter's generous boost, building that solid sense of self-worth that attracts financial reward and gives you the courage to actually use your new expertise and authority.
And the end result, according to this analysis, sounds pretty amazing. A professional life that's described as both lucrative and emotionally fulfilling. It seems like the year you finally get your work aligned with that deep Cancerian need for security, but also for legacy.
That's the promise. Moving beyond just seeking comfort and actually starting to build something lasting. Finding work that, as the source puts it, feels like coming home.
Yeah.
It really encourages you to nurture those ambitions and make them real.
A really potent year ahead then. Lots of growth, lots of structure based on everything we've looked at here. Seems like the universe is really backing this transformation for you Cancers out there.
Absolutely. And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with, something that builds on all this. If aligning your work with your soul, finding that coming home, feeling professionally, is the ultimate goal for 2026. Which of those 3 big forces, Pluto's push to face money fears, Saturn's demand for structured learning, or Jupiter's boost to your self-worth, which one feels like your necessary first step? Where do you need to shore up your foundation first to unlock that deeper professional freedom? Worth thinking about. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.